On my FieldFox, I'm going to go into spectrogram mode, measure, interference analysis, spectrogram. I'll set my center frequency to 4 gigahertz where I have a signal, and let's do a span of 1 megahertz. And this is my signal. What I can record is this traced over time. So it's not really, it is the trace data like you would be plotting in a spectrogram. And let me show you what you can do. You can go to Trace, Record Playback. We're going to record it internally. We'll set it as New Session. And go into Session Data. And make sure you set the CSV save style to all traces, because you want to save all the trace data, not just one trace. And you can set the record limit to, I can, for example, set it to 100 traces, or you can leave it at that number that it used to be. That's the maximum it could record. And then you can record a certain interval, a certain amount of time, or just, say start recording. But I said I wanted to save 100 traces. So I'll say record player and record. You can see the counter up here. So it is saving this data. Going to stop when it gets to 100. Then I will say save. And because I'm going to transfer it to my computer, I'm going to save it on a USB stick. I'll go ahead and say save. Sorry. I'll say 100 traces. Actually, I won't say it. I'll just say file data. And you can say it's here. It's saying it's saving 100 traces. I want to point out a few things to you. Let's go into record playback. And we can, let's say we've closed the session, but we don't have the data saved. The way you can get the data is you can go to recall session, and it's been saved in the record playback directory. I open it, and then again I go save, and I say, let's say, data file 2, and it's saving the 100. If you're in record playback and you are playing, and then you pause it, and you save the data then, and you want to, by the way, the default data type is trace plus state, so you want to make sure you change it to CSV. And I say save here, and let's say this is the 3rd time I'm trying to save this, data file 3. Notice the message quickly went away because it's only saved 1 trace. You want to, that message that it's saving data files should take some amount of time if it saves all the 100 traces. So and that's because I was in pause mode. You want to be stopped when you save the data. So then I'm also going to take the recording that I have, and I'm going to transfer it to my USB stick. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to show you why I'm doing it. Let's go to Device Internal, Manage Folders, and this is my recording, is a record playback under GPSA. Auto Session 1 is where that's the recording I did, and I'll copy it to my USB. Okay. Now I'm going to pull this USB stick out, and I'm going to insert it into my computer. And here is those data files I saved, and you can see the one that I saved while it was paused, that's the smaller file. So we can open either of the ones that are bigger. And this is your 3-dimensional data, time, frequency, and power. So the time is, you can see it's time stamped. I had GPS on, but if you don't have GPS on, it's your computer time. That's the timestamp, and it goes down to 100 traces, which is I set it to save. Going across, this is my 401 x-axis frequency point. They're not all they're different frequencies. It's just this is Excel's displaying it that way. That's my frequencies, and these are my power levels in a CSV format. So that's the data saving you can save. But it's really not necessarily to be in spectrogram mode. You would get the same data saving if you were just in regular SA mode. It's just saving the trace data over time. But that is also what spectrogram is plotting over time, is that data over time. I wanted to also show you that we have, the FieldFox data link software. And if you wanted later just to actually look at the traces playing, you can come and double click Auto Session 1. And it actually creates the CSV in that process, and you can play it back. Or you can open the session from your computer. Oh, did I not save it? I think if I, maybe I didn't. Open playback session. Okay. Oh, I see. Maybe it's, let me go see if it's in there. Oh, I never copied the directory. Well, if I had copied that session file to my USB stick, then I could open it in here and also play it back. But there's a lot of different ways you can get it, but the easiest is just to save it on the box. But sometimes if you are using the box and you want to save it later, you can use the data link software to do that.